Yeah, let's go in. Let's get your hair sorted. Right, ready?
Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right. Oh, I think that'll be fine, Aled. Yeah, looks fine. Yeah, I'll just give you. Yeah, quickly tidy your fringe. That's you. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's it. Okay. That's it. I'm happy with that.
So, the whole game.
Yeah, let's start with actually. Welcome to episode 8, and let's kick off with the whole game last week. Yeah. Obviously now Alex's hair's ready. Okay, so I mean, what do you guys think? What do you reckon? 6-5, Devils
I
win.
thought the drumming was superb. Brett was fantastic on the night.
Okay. Anything on the hockey aspect?
Yeah, fantastic first period. I thought it was a really good first period.
Yeah, what, three goals in a fight, awesome.
Yeah. Really.
Can't fault that at all. Second, let's talk about, okay, first period was good. Let's talk about the second period, because that's the issue that I'm interested in, is second periods at the minute.
Second period, I thought was we lost our intensity a bit. Something that traditionally we've done. We definitely didn't play as well second period. We didn't completely lose it in the second period, but we were definitely struggling in the second period, certainly compared to the first.
Well, we lost the second period, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest difference I saw was that where we capitulated in some games where other teams have turned around against us, we didn't just give up at that point. We carried on fighting.
True.
And in the third period, we came back out and we stayed with it basically, because it wouldn't have been difficult then certainly with the way Doucette was playing, or Duquet, or
Bouquet, Bucket, whatever it is. Yeah.
Doucette, who was outstanding in fairness.
He did really well. I mean, he scored the same goal 4 times pretty much, didn't he? It was the same play every time over the same shoulder. Impressive stuff, you know.
Very well taken, all pinpoint accurate. Yeah, and I don't think if you set up in training that you would see a guy hit the same spot that often, quite like that. Certainly under game conditions, very unusual. He was rattling the bottle every time, so that's not something you see regularly. So fair play to him, and nice to see him back with form as well. Because I think he's the same chap who was at Belfast, wasn't he? Or am I mistaken? Is that
no? You're thinking of Benoit.
Oh, Doucette.
Yeah, this is a different Doucette.
Benoit.
Benoit. Sorry to Belfast fans.
I do apologise. I was thinking it was the same gentleman, and he just improved vastly. Well, this gentleman.
The other one wasn't good.
He wasn't as good as this chap who can really play. Yeah. It's just a bit like watching Janan at Coventry. You just know when you watch him that this guy can really play.
Yeah,
he's one of those.
He's the only one they've got who can really play. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. So 4 of the same goal, pinpoint accuracy over the same shoulder. Then third period, we were all right, I thought.
Third period, we were back into it. Intensity was back up again. The guys looked more focused, and we battled the period out, and we made sure we didn't lose the game. And I think that was what was vitally important. Don't lose it. We didn't need to win, in fairness.
No.
But we made sure we didn't lose, which I think was vitally important given the situation we'd been in previously.
And the cup's actually gone quite well so far, isn't it? And it is important, the cup, isn't it? Because obviously last year we didn't get through, and it's a big deal financially, really, isn't it?
I see the cup as being our one real chance of winning something. I think.
I think the league will be difficult now.
The league's maybe slipping away from us a little bit.
Yeah.
The shorter competitions. Yeah. It's like in any sport, really, isn't it? The shorter competitions, I suppose, suit the sides who are slightly lower ranked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, possibly.
And
the sides who can't go out and sign 15 new imports a week.
And we always get, assuming you get through, you get a home game.
Yeah.
Obviously, which you don't get in the playoffs when you get to the final 4 weekend. I suppose.
No, it's a bit like that whole getting through against Sheffield to the playoffs a couple of seasons ago. It's one of those things that sometimes the smaller teams can turn around results you're not expecting. I think in Cardiff's case at the moment, particularly with the weekends games that we'll go on to shortly, they've demonstrated that they can play with the bigger teams. And possibly going forward in the cup competition, maybe it is an opportunity for us to go and win something, or certainly to do very well in it, which is important to us this season, I think. And that probably leads us on into the Belfast game.
It really does quite nicely. You did well there. It's good. I like it. Good link.
Yeah,
good link. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And first thing I'd like to say is thanks to the Giants Live boys and the webcast.
Yeah.
Lots of us saw that and enjoyed it. And
yeah, it was good. It was a good way to keep in touch with the games, you know.
I enjoyed Murph's commentary, Russ, and I don't want to say the gentleman's name wrong on the who did it on Sunday, and I can't remember who it was. Who was with Murph on Sunday? Anybody remember?
I'm sorry.
I do apologise.
You made both of us look like idiots now.
I know, because
you
we're
just could have kept quiet.
You shouldn't have said any names, should I?
It's alright, you looking like a fool over Doucette.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
not unusual.
Let's pretend that never happened. Right?
Okay, but thanks, guys, anyway.
Thanks, guys.
And good luck with Premier Sports.
If there is a quick edit, the obvious edit on
that
the
won't
program
happen.
there,
Yeah,
that's the reason.
We could just do a voiceover. You know, someone else could do a voiceover.
Yeah.
Maybe come in there and just say the gentleman's name.
Yeah.
The Irish gentleman who was very well spoken and gave excellent commentary on the
Yes.
Sunday.
But anyway, so
Marvellous.
Saturday first, yeah?
Yeah. Very positive.
Very positive, yeah, got to be said. Good game.
Very determined performance. I wouldn't say pretty performance, probably.
Nah. But
very determined, very gritty. And probably something we missed out on that whole game was Morissette stepping up to score the winning pen. And we probably did miss out one other big key thing, really. Doucette's penalty, which was probably one of the best I've seen in the league for I don't know how long.
It was, phenomenal from where we were sat as well. It was,
fair play to him. Awesome, absolutely awesome. So going on to...
But just while you're on penalties, I mean, Morissette got 2, didn't he? He scored both of his goals on the Saturday, I believe.
In the Belfast game,
that's definitely something we missed, isn't it? Like, I mean, we haven't had a really solid penalty shot taker.
Did he get 2?
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah. He got the
Okay.
sudden death one and he got in the regular.
So I think Blighter scored in the whole game and then Morissette scored.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah,
and
that's
I think in the Belfast game he scored both. He scored. Was he second up penalty or third? Was he? I can't know which. Was he first up? But he scored both of his. He scored both of his penalties. Anyway.
I might have been a bit.
And they were both well taken penalties. Because to be fair, it's not easy to get past.
We haven't had a lot of success in penalties over the last couple of years, so it's quite nice to have a guy who looks like he's quite assured.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it's not an easy place for us to go in and win. We didn't do it last year particularly. I think we won one against Belfast last year overall. So
I think to come away, my wish before the weekend was that we might be able to pull 2 points out of it with a greasy win somewhere.
Yeah.
And I did think it would be difficult for us because you never go to the O and just walk away with a win. They obviously were down a couple of players on the Saturday, but so were we, unfortunately. We were, obviously with no G and no Hilly, so we weren't at full strength either. But a great performance a great goal by Pigsy. Stepped up there.
Well taken, yeah.
Yeah, put it in, and he nearly scored. In fairness to him, he nearly got another one on the Sunday, I think it was as well. But you know, and the British guys, I saw CJ a lot on the webcast. Ben Davis got a lot of mentions off the.
CJ was really stepped up. I was impressed with him on the Sunday. Literally, he properly was, full shift in.
Good, they had to really, didn't they? Because by the end of the game on Saturday, they all looked shattered. By the end of the game on Sunday, I don't know how somebody like Tyson Marsh was standing up, to be honest.
No.
Because that guy skated so many minutes over the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal performance. I'm thrilled to bits to see him back fit this season.
Yeah.
Because we've seen more from him this season than we did last season because of injury and other bits and pieces. This season, it's like a new guy on the ice.
Well, he seems to have the aura of that kind of number one D man who just is your sort of your guy
constantly
that you sort of build something around. A bit like I always remember watching just a few years ago Neil Martin at Coventry. Not to sort of you link them like for like, but when I used to watch him, especially in a neutral game, he just seemed to be kind of do everything for them, from that position. And
bless you.
It does feel like with Marsh the way he's playing at the moment, if he carries on playing like that he's kind of he looks like he wants that kind of role as well.
He does.
He's like happy to have
careful,
that responsibility.
Comfortable to lead.
Yeah, definitely.
From the back. No,
absolutely superb. Does everything, doesn't he?
And log in loads of minutes.
One-timers.
Skates, one-timers. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was injured at the end of last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
A lot of last season, and we didn't see the best of him last year. And there were a few negative comments when he resigned, which was odd. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was very late coming in as well.
He was, and this year he's been
outstanding.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure I'd heard before the season there was a possibility he may hang his skates up, and I'm thrilled to bits that he didn't.
Lucky for us, wasn't it? Really, yeah.
Well, he's come in and he's been out, and to be fair, he isn't the only one who's been outstanding, but he's skated so many minutes and he's certainly led from the back. Richie's obviously been doing well for us as a two-way D-man as well, very well putting up the points, skating his shifts. But Marsh has been very physical as well on the ice.
Yeah.
And he stood up. He stood up. And if he'd stood up against Keith, I wouldn't have been surprised on Sunday that we really needed him on the ice.
Well, I think that was it Sunday, wasn't down bodies and.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think there was, if there'd have been more blokes in our lineup, I think there would have been other people fighting Keith than Plumpton. To be honest.
Yes, I think you're probably right. I think Plumpton actually was quite clever.
Yeah.
He was going to take 2 minutes for the slash.
Yeah.
Was it a slash on Keith?
Yeah.
And then the two of them went. So fair play to him. Keith, probably of all the tough men in the league, though he isn't one of the biggest ones, is probably technically the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
pound for pound, he's the best.
He won that
boxer.
fight from the second they linked.
Yeah.
Plumpton wasn't set for it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Keith had him from the start, just on technicality.
Keith's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that you can afford to go toe to toe with, really.
No.
A bigger guy who can hold him at arm's length is probably the best bet. You don't want Keith being able to fight inside because his technique's too good. And I think if he'd gone against someone like Quiney, we probably would have seen Keith get inside and show the big guy, out to fight really. But very capable guy. But it wasn't a bad fight, and it ended, and that seemed to end a lot of the hostility for me at that point. A lot of the tension seemed to have settled down. Obviously, we haven't really talked about the major incident yet, but we will before we finish.
The other thing from both those games.
Yeah. Just do your hair again.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, I can't believe you're doing that, mate. That's
No.
terrible. That shouldn't be allowed.
No.
There's no room for that in this show.
I could have taken
Can
his
we-
eye out, couldn't I?
Exactly. None of that. Yeah.
Sorry.
All
No.
that. Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, I'm a big boy.
Yeah. Well, good lad. And that's the thing when you got a big hand, and you see big hand.
Again,
But just,
twice.
Yeah.
do you think you might be able to?
We're going to get this reviewed. I think John could be banned for the next 24 shows. So don't worry, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. But if I had a sharpened glove on, potentially,
Yes.
trim it off a little bit while I'm doing it.
Or a hole in your glove.
All right. So just touch on the refereeing at the weekend as well, because I'm going to use the word shocking.
Go on,
It was
say it.
shocking.
Bizarre.
Yeah, and I'm not going to drop an S-bomb like Aled did the other week, but it was shocking.
I think
Yeah.
I did put the words meltdown amongst other things on, and for both sides, not just for us.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Belfast got some really hideous penalties.
both sides were
against them as well.
hilariously
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
And
yeah.
some of the penalties, I'm sure they were made up. I think one was for breathing, and there was definitely one for having his hair too
Well,
nice.
there was one point on Sunday
Persistently
where
Canadian
there
on
was
the
that
ice, yeah.
passage of play where there was just penalty after penalty, and the commentary team.
It just felt like they were evening up, though.
But then you watched a passage a bit later on, which looked
Worse.
very similar or
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, exactly.
And there was nothing called, and you thought if that had been 5 minutes ago when everything was being called, it would have been the same thing
Well,
again.
you can
So-
see Hicks do it. He called us for something that was, frankly, bobbins. Yeah, it was like, oh, you skated too close to his knees or something, off. Yeah, and he'd go, oh, hang on, that was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And he'd watch a Giants player, oh, you off, and it was like, well,
Well, Suez most of the
5
time.
seconds later, it was ridiculous.
Everything Suez did.
Yeah.
He did have a couple of penalties against him in the end, but
Well,
most,
yeah, he deserved them.
most of them weren't real.
No,
most of
no.
the ones he took.
Yeah.
They were like, didn't like the way you held the
But
stick
it-
there off.
It did feel really like on Sunday, especially Hicks just went, this is the Mike Hicks show, and I am here to call penalties.
But when
Look
is
at
somebody
me.
gonna when is
Yeah.
somebody gonna do something about it?
It was so disjointed though because of that. That's a bit like
It was.
people who like rugby union and people who like rugby league. Some people like union don't like league because it's so stop start, and it was a bit like
stopping and starting and stopping and
Yeah,
that's
you know,
boring.
But it's
Yeah.
funny you bring up rugby though, because in that's a sport where basically it's certainly in union, the ref can dictate the spectacle from the outset, entirely down to the way the referee interprets things. That dictates the whole spectacle. Same thing, it's happening to a degree in the hockey matches.
Certainly Sunday, the refereeing destroyed the fun in the game. A lot of the fun in the game for me. That middle period
But
was.
why isn't anyone
just-
doing anything about it? All we've got is people like us and people on forums and Twitter moaning about it, but nobody in any controlling aspect of the league is doing anything about it.
Because
investing money in it and getting it sorted, because it does destroy the product.
Have we done this every other show now?
We have.
We have.
I think we
yeah.
have.
Do something about it, God damn it!
And we're not saying we're not saying this is all against the Devils. What we're saying is that neither team was fairly treated.
Garbage.
No, exactly.
It just seemed at some points it just seemed to be getting made up as we went along, and it was frustrating to watch.
It was.
Because the game would be flowing and we were there was a pattern developing, and then all of a sudden it was gone again.
How many calls do you see in your average NHL game? I don't know the stats, but when I watch a game,
Not as many.
It's normally, I watch a lot of NHL, and it flows pretty well. Quite often you'll see a period go with maybe even no minors, maybe one or two.
Pretty much in NHL, if someone gets called, they deserved it.
Yeah.
You can see it. Oh, he did that. That was wrong. He deserved that. You don't sit there and go, what's he been called for?
No,
You know, like-
because he's absolutely impaled the guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So basically, I think as a fan base across the entire league, we're desperate for somebody with some power to do something to improve the standard of refereeing, and that's not a personal attack on any of the guys doing it, but please do something about it. It's garbage, and it needs to be sorted out, really.
The league needs to spend some money on it.
Well, then, in fairness, they're not all as bad as each other, I'd have to say, because the games I've seen with Dean Smith reffing, for instance, I actually thought he didn't do a bad job.
Yeah.
Some of Tom's games that I've seen, I thought, I didn't think they would. But apparently some of the Scottish I've heard some of the stories about the Scottish refereeing, and not both sides were screaming during the one game at him.
I've never ever heard Tom Darnell called Sideshow Tom Darnell. Ever. Never ever.
No.
All the time. All the time. Sideshow Tom. Yeah. Because he's there. It just
Hollywood.
What's the game? Anyway, Hollywood. Yeah. All right. So refereeing. We have another 2-minute route on that. Wicked.
So and then we probably should go back to Sunday anyway. The Giants won it.
Yeah.
A fair result probably. It was very tight between the two teams and could have easily gone to extra time penalties again. But anyway, over the weekend points were shared and that was probably a fair result.
Better than I was hoping for on Thursday, Friday.
I was happy with that. If we'd gone in there with a full squad and we'd been winning a lot of games, then maybe you'd been hoping you could maybe sneak maybe 3 points over the weekend, for instance, like Belfast did. But I think a win each, and we proved against the top side that we are able to play against them in their own home. And a lot of positive feedback from their fans. On our fans, apparently we had lots of fans that had travelled with Red Army Travel, so well done to them. And we could hear you on the webcast, and we saw some of you, and some of you appeared not to be drunk. Why?
Oh, is this on Sunday?
Well, the ones on Sunday were all asleep.
Yeah, that's why, because on Sunday they were all hungover. Yeah, because someone might have told me he had 30 drinks on Saturday, which is hilarious. Yeah.
They all were lying down on Sunday when the camera turned round.
Oh, bless.
No, it was good.
I've been there.
It was great to see that support, and that is important, especially the guys. At the moment, they need to see that support. And then we probably should talk about the incident on Saturday, which involved Conboy, where he was styling Mason's hair. And if you look at the camera, Aled, it looked a lot like this. And can you see that? Now, I was styling Aled's hair earlier, but you can see that if you look at that, it could be perceived that maybe I'm trying to do something to his eye.
I have to say, your hands smell lovely.
What do they?
What do you use? Is it Nivea or?
It was Nivea, actually.
See? Yeah.
When you get to my age, you have to look after them.
Although I suppose that's the key difference, actually, is you were using your hands and not a massively gloved hand.
Yeah, and Conboy's bigger than me, so I dare say Conboy's hand's probably even bigger than mine.
Now, in that initial styling incident that we're going to give you 12 shows for later on, the camera couldn't see what you were doing.
No.
Now, if we imagine the camera is the referee, that's much like what happened on Saturday, isn't it?
I think what you'll notice, though, is that during the time that I was styling Aled's hair, he wasn't struggling.
No, he wasn't, which is strange.
No.
I know if someone was styling my hair, I'd struggle.
Yeah.
Particularly
if they had their finger in their eye.
Yeah, especially if they had a finger in my eye. I struggle a lot.
But you'd have your eyes open, though, wouldn't you? If somebody
I think I would,
had their finger in your eyes.
I think so, yeah.
Would you?
Well, I did have someone put their finger in my eye once, but I gave him a reverse elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, or yeah. So you've got to wonder. I mean, not defending it. He should be more clever. Yeah. I won't defend it either, and I said on Twitter that I wouldn't be defending it because you cannot go near someone's eyes. Exactly.
And I know Aled will make a very valid point in a minute about that, but in my opinion, you can't go near somebody's eyes no matter what you think you're doing. I think he probably was trying to give him a face wash.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a cuddle with two hands over his head. It didn't really look to me on the video that I saw, all the pictures, there was any great intent in his face. You can normally see if you're gonna go for somebody's eyes, generally you'll see a lot of aggression because it's a very personal thing to go for the eyes. Everybody knows the eye is very sensitive. And in general, pros don't want to injure other guys by sticking their finger in their eyes. I couldn't see any intent in his face. In fact, it looked like his eyes were almost closed. But I think he intended to give him a face wash, which he still shouldn't have been doing. And when you got a reputation like Conboy, you can't afford to do anything like that. But Aled will come with a counter argument.
But we have talked about reputation quite a lot, haven't we? Because he has built up a reputation in the league, because there was the checking the linesman incident. There was the headbutt.
That wasn't
on the
checking.
Swede. I know he
fell. I saw it again this week for our own fans, and he checked the linesman. He didn't check a linesman.
Yeah.
If Conboy checked the linesman, they wouldn't be getting back up.
Exactly. But
he skated past the lines when he said something to him, and his shirt sleeve touched him, and the linesman pretended to be shot. Is the basics of it.
Yeah, so there's that.
And he shouldn't have done it, and that's another thing he should, because you.
But the thing is, though, right?
You shouldn't do it.
He's given the guy a face wash. If that's what his intention was to do, albeit an excessively long one.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you're an enforcer and you're giving somebody a face wash, I suspect you're thinking, I reckon I might be all right with this one. I won't get. This is safe territory. I might not get a ban for this. If he'd have punched him, we all know he'd have been done for a sucker punch, just like Michelle was done in Belfast a few years ago, which basically almost virtually cost us the league.
Farce, yeah.
And so in his defence, he might have thought, I'm on fairly safe ground here. It's a face wash, but I can't imagine I'm going to get banned for this. But the point is all of us are saying what we think probably happened, and I think that's the key thing here. There's absolutely no way. There is no way anybody, including me, can know what Andrew Conboy was doing, whether he was trying to gouge him, what his intention, or if he was trying to gouge him or not. There is no way with a glove that's massive on somebody's hand, like that, with what we've seen, there is no way you can say he is intending to gouge somebody. I don't get, and that would never hold up. I can't, in a court or anything like that. You just can't say that. So I don't know whether he might have been, for all I know. I don't know. But my point is that you've got to have fairness and consistency. Yeah. And there is no way. It seems to me, at least, is that there is a guilty until proven innocent stance, and I have a fundamental problem with that. Because that is totally opposed to what we have in law. So why should it be any different on a hockey pitch?
Just to interject there about consistency, the league can quite happily say they're being consistent. They did Campbell for attempted eye gouging. Yeah. They gave him 12 games 2 weeks ago. So therefore, they have set out their stand for what they believe is consistent, which is attempted eye gouge, 12 games.
I think they had clear evidence for that one, though, didn't they?
They really did, yeah.
They did. They had actual evidence.
Well, I think the referee might have seen that one as well, as in, like, I can see what's going on.
We know that the referee on the night didn't actually see anything go on. We saw that from the footage, and the decision was made after.
Based on the reaction of the Belfast bench.
Well, that's possible, yeah.
Well, and maybe that's fair enough if they thought that Conboy was going for his eye and they were trying to draw the referee's attention to it. So I don't want people thinking that we're trying to say that we're completely innocent and this is all a referee issue again.
Some sort of devil's advocacy kind of a thing, isn't it? Really? When it's sort of going for
we're somewhere in the middle. What we're saying is the Conboy shouldn't have done it because he can't afford to.
If he was trying to gouge somebody's eye, then he deserves to be chucked.
Oh, he deserves to be chucked, yeah.
He was trying to remove his eye, I read on Twitter.
Remove his eye?
Yeah, because he thought he had a rubber eye and he wanted to check it.
Oh, yeah.
My point is, there's absolutely no way that you can say that he is definitely guilty of intent to gouge somebody's eye in those circumstances. So therefore, the penalty is a farce in that sense. Nothing to do with the actual sort of thing or whatever, just that how you can sort of justify it in terms of, I just don't get it. But there we are. That's my stance on it. If there was a gouge, then sack him off. But there's no way. The only way they can know he was intending to gouge someone's eye is if he went in there and said, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was trying to gouge him. That's the only way you can prove it.
And now we've got our own fans, some of our own fans, because I should make that little disclaimer there, because apparently recently I did group another team's fans in together when I said some of their fans or lots of their fans. But some of our fans have said that the Conboy should be sacked. So they'll come out openly and
I did a fairly unscientific experiment on Twitter last night where I said, "What do you think? Devils defending him, ban." And I might have retweeted something Aleds said.
You upset me in the process.
Got him in loads of trouble. It was great.
From Giants fans.
But basically, my unscientific experiment, and I looked at what the responses were, and pretty much maybe we got 60, 70 people responded straight away, and probably 55 of those were get gone. Was the opinion?
Yeah.
4 or 5 people saying what we're saying, which is you can't really prove what happened.
I think it's understandable that people would say get gone because ultimately it's the team which people are thinking of. But from my point of view, if the club take my view of things in that, which is that he's been, it's been harshly treated and there's an injustice there, then it would be morally wrong to sack a guy if you're telling him on one hand, sorry mate, yeah, we feel you've totally been done there from a reviews point of view, from a disciplinary, but we're going to sack you anyway. So if that is the view the club have taken, which is what I think Brent sort of suggested into that, you know.
But we've been led to understand that the club isn't moral.
Yeah.
And doesn't have any loyalty to players. So now that we've stood up and we have been loyal to a player, now that's being criticised as well. It's a very difficult balancing act, I think. Yeah. But we're either trying to go forward and maybe we're saying, look, from now on, this is the way we're going to, you know, we're looking at things.
It does feel like in a lot of people's eyes, the club can do no right at the moment. No matter what they do,
no, and
someone
that's
is
the
going
point
to
I'm making, really. I'm not criticising anybody for what they think.
No.
But there does have to be balance. And at some point, you have to say, this is where we are. Sorry for interrupting you again, Aled.
No,
this is where we are. This is what we're doing. And are we going to support the team, which is our team, the team that we love, and hope that it does well? Because for me, that's what I'm doing. Cardiff Devils is the team that I love. They're the team I've always loved.
Yeah.
They're the team I've always supported. And as much as I love G and Franny, I'm still going to support the team because that's my team. And like football managers come and go, but you still carry on supporting. Like for me, it's Liverpool.
Yeah.
Even though I maybe really like one of the managers, I still support the team afterwards because I understand that things do change. And the same with our club.
A team isn't one person, is it? The team is a team. It's a group of people. It's an institution. It's a franchise, if you want to use that word. Whatever. It's not the one person or the two people. It's lots of people.
We might not like the way the things have happened, but things have happened, and now we move on from there. We move forward from there. We won't forget what G's done for us, but we move on from there now, and we go forward. And we've said we're going to stand by Conboy, and the other thing you have to face is Conboy's banned for 12. The league, we haven't approached the league and said, look, if Conboy wasn't here, what sort of penalty? We can't just sign somebody to put in.
No,
because knowing our luck, there's a good chance we'd probably still take 12.
Of course we would. I mean, Hull took 15, didn't they? And they got rid of Campbell straight away.
Are we going to sign some games who can do the job that he can do and fill that role?
Well, we know Conboy can really play as well.
There's not that many guys who can play
there
like
aren't
that.
A lot of guys who can enforce and play.
So, I mean,
really
I don't know. I mean, but the point is, if he's done something sort of, then the club feels on this occasion, because of the previous ones as well, and there's been an element of injustice, I think, in some of that as well. But there's no doubt he hasn't been sensible for a lot of the time. If they feel he's done something legitimately wrong, then I can fully understand it, if that's what the club feels, that people would expect him to be sacked from the club.
Yeah.
But like I said, if they feel that he's been harshly done by, and they're saying that to him, then, and it sounds like the team have spoken about it as well, doesn't it? And
I think the other guys have all spoken about it as well.
The press release said that,
Then they can't, on the one hand, say, yeah, you've been done there, mate, and then on the other hand say, yeah, but we're going to sack you anyway.
See you.
So that's my kind of feeling on it, and that.
I mean, the one thing we don't know is, I'm going to try not to giggle when I say these words, we have no idea what kind of internal discipline he's facing in the club. He could be fined to hell and back. He could be
we don't know
carrying water bottles and buying juice. We have no idea. We don't need to know
that. No,
exactly.
No.
So the club could also be dealing with this really harshly internally.
I do want to bring up one other point to do with this, though. There's a few people who've said that they're unhappy that he was going after a non-fighter in Mason. Well, I think that point is totally wrong, and I think that at the end of the day, that's good enforcing. Yeah, Keith and Suez are not in the lineup. He's gone after, obviously do it legally, of course, or whatever. But there's no rule that says you cannot enforce against guys who aren't perceived as tough. We don't tell Ryan Ginand that he can't come and show all his silky skills and score amazing goals or skate fast or run rings around guys who have less of a skill set than him. We don't tell guys who hit big that they can't hit big on guys who can't do the same back to them. So why do we have this rule that for enforcers they can only enforce against tough guys?
It
doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why we only apply that rule, or sometimes we only apply that rule to tough guys. At the end of the day, Keith wasn't there. That's his fault for the check he made on Conboy initially. Therefore, that gives Conboy. We've seen it in our ring. Ben Davis gets smashed about, and I haven't got a problem with that. If we, but we should have somebody stepping in. We don't then say to Ben, "Oh, sorry, you can't go and do all that great stuff sort of behind the net, winning battles against the boards because that guy isn't as good as you're battling against.
No, it's not
Yeah,
fair.
So I don't, because it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair.
That's not fair.
So I do think that's an important point as well. He should be able to enforce against whoever he wants to enforce. So there, I'm having a muffin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're having a muffin. Awesome.
And
So-
one thing we have missed out
Yeah.
is Dan Acosta.
Oh yeah.
In all of this, because of all of that, unfortunately, that's detracted from Dan. Some fantastic performances from Dan.
He's been superb
in the wake of what happened in the Hull game. I don't want to go into too much.
That's a reason why we can win the cup as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about what happened in the Hull games because I think that's something that Dan will have looked at and will be addressing. And
Of course he will. I mean, yeah, you don't get a guy come out and do that to you and then go, how did that happen? And talk to you about it.
Well, Dan will know because Dan's played against top guys in the NHL and AHL. So he's seen lots of guys who can pick their spot before. It was one of those nights for some reason where that particular spot was working. But against Belfast, I noticed a couple of times they tried top shelf on him. In fact, more than a couple of times.
It didn't
go in.
No, exactly.
And on the penalties as well, they tried various things which had worked previously. And in fairness, in a couple of days, I'm sure that they've been working on it in training. They've had the guys trying those shots on him to help him, and he was looking sharper. And he will get better than that. I think.
He's to the point now where he is stealing his wins.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I think he stole us Saturday night.
Yeah, I think with a number of other netminders in that we've had previously, we wouldn't have won that game.
No, hell no.
And that's no offence to anybody. Certainly a guy like Osea was a guy who used to steal you wins because he'd come up with some incredible saves.
Yeah.
I definitely think though, watching the game on Sunday, I missed the game on Saturday, but Sunday watching that game, we had the intensity in front of both of the nets, and that's one of the really things which, although we made some fantastic saves, we had guys blocking shots, throwing themselves in front of the net, trying to get the rebounds. Exactly, yeah. And the same thing down the other end. The end of the game when we were pushing for the equaliser, we actually had guys in there trying to poke it away. It was this mad scramble, and that's what's so exciting.
Whose slap shot did Law block? He went down in full body in front of a slap shot that was insane.
Oh, it was.
Well, apparently after the game, Pope thanked the Lord, and he said to him, I was really pleased with your work.
Yeah.
That was a terrible line, wasn't it?
Well, really was.
It should have been the Pope, but I do apologise.
Which has been regurgitated numerous times.
That's why I thought I'd better throw it up because so many people have said it. No, Lord was outstanding. I think what you have to, when you go back and look at it, actually, all the guys performed.
They really did, yeah. There was no one you could say, not really.
Well, I don't think there's any bit of the ice that Mac didn't skate over.
No, not at all.
I saw him I saw him on D a couple of times.
And his goal celebration on Sunday was epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very confused seeing him behind the net at one point with the puck.
Yeah.
Our net, I mean.
Yeah.
Thinking what's happening. But great to see. Lots of great performances. Blighter, Maxi, everybody. Well done to all the guys on the team.
Yeah, no, I thought so. I
that.
thought that was exactly the kind of performance which, as a fan, I find it easy to get behind. So,
that was a proper Devils performance.
And I think a lot of fans do. When you see that kind of commitment, and that's the word, isn't it? The commitment from them.
A lot of intensity.
I think that's exactly what people get behind, win or lose. So
I think that's the biggest difference I've seen so far. Certainly in those games was the intensity. We didn't. You didn't go through this. I've watched games before, and I'm sure you've seen them yourself. But all of a sudden, it feels like the other team's on a power play when they're not.
All the time, yeah. It happens
they're skating around, and no one seems to be getting hit. And they're working the puck.
It's our usual second period technique, isn't it? At home, it seems like the minute we lose second periods, and towards the end of the second period, it feels like I'll turn to James and say, "Are we on a penalty kill?" Because we aren't.
No, but it feels like we are. We suddenly lost all our shape.
Exactly.
And the other team was skating around us, and we didn't have that. Because if we'd had that against Belfast, I think they'd have gone and won that game.
They'd have hammered us, yeah.
But we didn't have that at all on either day.
No.
We even on those massive penalty kills, because obviously both teams did a lot of penalty killing. Their power play units weren't working very well, but both teams' penalty kill units were working well.
Yeah, the power play units were poor all weekend.
Neither team's power play was working really.
Giants wouldn't.
They were that's not just down to the power play itself. That's also down to the team.
The netminders. Yeah, the netminder. Penalty kills. Yeah, but
I thought the setups were okay though. Like we seemed to gain the zone reasonably well on most power plays.
Setups weren't bad.
I know the results weren't there, but there definitely seemed to be some sustained pressure in the zone and stuff. Which
you probably got two of the best netminders in the league currently on form on show there.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Kowalski is the best netminder in the league. You got Bacala as well. Obviously, who's also been fantastic. Kyle Jones at Braehead. In fact, going through the netminders in the league this year, there's been a lot of very good performances.
The quality's gone up as well, hasn't it? It really feels like the netminders are a lot better this year. Yeah.
And of course, we should mention probably the Braehead going to Sheffield when Braehead had about 6 men playing and won.
Yeah.
Wouldn't like to rub that. I think they said 11 playing. Is it 11? And
good road win, you know.
Yeah, tremendous performance. Apparently they dominated as well. Was the feedback I got even from some Steelers fans. So
okay.
Well done to them. Well done to Finner, and great result. And thanks for trying to help out with Macias as well, the defender. Unfortunately, he wanted to go home, but thanks for your help.
Yeah. Obviously, Devils on Twitter just before we started filming have announced they've got 4 contracts out.
They certainly.
They had 4.
They had 4. I think one fell through, and they named a name. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Well, the one was Macias.
Okay, so was Macias one?
No, he was one.
Okay.
And there's 3 others apparently with NHL experience.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the encouraging thing is the calibre of the player that they're looking at. Is that though at the moment that some of these guys aren't coming. At least we're looking at the right type of player.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, it's that sort of.
And I think part of the reason probably they've released that information is because some have suggested that we're not really looking for players and we're conserving the funds. So it's good to see from the club they've been proactive and they've come out and given some information, which is information with names. So if people really wanted to check, they could find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could ask, I suppose. Yeah.
But Braehead have said obviously that they'd spoken to the Devils about Masters, so we know that was definitely true. So good to see that we're building. It's like a disco in here tonight. I do apologise for the lights. James is asleep, standing against the wall.
Yeah, one job, James. One job. Yeah.
You can't do that off camera, James. That's disgraceful behaviour.
Oh dear. Oh, we won't tell you what he was doing.
We're back to the crotch dust.
But let's just say you can't dance.
Yeah.
So where are we up to now? Are we up to the whole game on Sunday?
Yeah.
I'm going to confess I didn't write the word Hull. But yeah.
No, I was looking at that and I thought, what on earth does that say? But we play Hull on Sunday. And we'll be looking for a repeat performance of the last game. Apart from
the
we'll look to concede less and tie Doucette down because we now know the danger that guy is. When he's skating up the left wing, he has got to be kept out to the boards.
But then the point is, if you shut him down, then Tender goes, doesn't he? So it's interesting.
We kept Tender very quiet.
We shut Tender completely down that game.
Tendler never. He's one of these guys who never looks like he's having a massive game and then scores 2 goals.
And then just does
because he's got so much ability though in front of the net that he can pick his spot. And for any finisher, that's always going to be vital. I think with Doucette, he's shown that if you allow him to come inside off the left wing, which he loves. Oh dear! You two behave. If we allow him to,
it was him
to step inside.
The Giants come hard up. The Plumpton goes deep, and the Giants come.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
And there was a couple of there was a couple of times in the second Belfast game that I really wished that our guys could pull off some better fakes and toe drags in front of the net because we had opportunities on Murphy 1-on-1 that we couldn't take because we just couldn't pull the moves off that we need.
No, we couldn't. No.
And you see some of the other guys come in.
Pull the what off?
A toe drag or yeah. Ben Davis pulled off an absolutely filthy toe drag against Zacharias in Coventry. Oh dear! Where he beat Zacharias, all ends up.
Sorry, we had a lot of sugar and it's all gone really wrong.
I do apologise.
It's late as well.
It's past our bedtimes.
Yeah.
It was a joy to watch.
It was a joy to watch.
And I'm just going to do this programme on my own in future, I think. You two.
Oh, that'd be good. You just alone.
Yeah, just tie you two up.
Just you alone on a sofa.
I won't do that either.
You could just get more and more bitter, couldn't you?
I could.
You could oil yourself up on the sofa. Just be like, hey.
Hey, baby.
Exactly.
Whose hair would you do, though, eh?
Well, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, whose hair would you do?
So going into the weekend's game.
Supplying your muffins.
That's true. We'll be looking for another three intense periods.
Game. Singular. One.
Yeah. Sunday game.
Yeah.
3 intense periods. Try and build off what we managed against Belfast, and use that again again. It may have been an intruder that's passed through there, but James gone after him now. So I'm
it was
pretty
like
sure
Benny Hill. He ran after him.
Look what everyone else
I think it was
off camera.
It was a security man, so James is probably lying down out there now, unconscious.
We're going to send someone after him, aren't we, to poke him in the eye?
I think, unfortunately, when we keep on coming to the studios late, they they keep on, trying to throw us back out. So
which is quite funny. So that's Hull Sunday.
Hull
Looking
game.
forward to that.
Hopefully we'll win that, even though we possibly without Mark Smith. Do we know any more on that yet?
People were
Upper
saying
body, I think.
upper body injury day to day. The usual. We don't really know.
The usual.
I don't know. I don't know where we are on it, but hopefully we'll see Smithy back for because he was excellent on Saturday as well.
He was superb.
It was part of an excellent team performance. Let's not take it away from anybody. I know we've mentioned guys, but everybody played well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got that result there. So another performance like that in the tent will really please the fans.
Exactly.
And I know that Aled would like to show us something.
Well, first off, before we go to that,
I've got a serious point to make as well.
Aled has a serious point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I sort of.
I was going to say Sunday, obviously Match Night Live up and running as per usual, covering the game for you.
Yeah.
Oh, and a webcast as well.
And the webcast, yeah.
Which I will endeavour to make sure works nicely for you all. And you commentating.
Do you know what? I don't know.
You don't
possibly.
know.
It could.
I am.
Yeah, and Aled will probably be commentating.
Even more reason.
So you can expect more mirth and more ridiculous comments and probably.
I have two personalities. I have a
Personalities?
Personalities.
You'll be saying there'll be a lot of ducket going on.
I have
Do you
one
have
where I can say actual words and be sensible, and that's the commentary one. And then I have one where I don't know what I'm saying.
Have you got a commentator voice? Do you
I
put on a little
think
accent?
Apparently I have, but I don't. It's not a deliberate thing.
Do you go North American or do you go like?
No, I think I just go a bit BBC.
Oh, BBC British. I like it. Good. That'd be interesting. Looking forward to that. So,
make a serious point now.
Right. Oh yeah, no, I just had a moment there where I was panicking that I thought people might think I was having a go at the wrong people. When I was talking about refs earlier, and I said it's garbage, I wasn't really necessarily talking about the refs. What I was talking about was the situation.
yes.
They find themselves in as well.
Where the situation where there isn't adequate training. So I just wanted to make that clear in case there's any particular individuals that are offended. That wasn't my intention.
I love your hair, Tom, and I think you drink
Great
coffee
guy.
and that's great.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Are we doing socks?
Aleds Socks.
Back with a bang!
Oh yeah, these are awesome.
No, these are cool. Can we have the lights on?
I've been admiring these bad boys.
Why do they
all
like
throughout
that?
the show.
They basically.
Do you know what?
No, but looking at the
Now,
screen,
you can't see
they just
those.
look like black
They
socks.
do.
They're not
what
black
we've got
socks,
here is sparkles. They're sort of like imagine Aleds Sock is about to loom in front of the camera. There you go.
Oh my god! Look at that.
That is hideous.
Wow.
That's
Look at that leg
absolutely
too.
hideous. Well done,
Hey,
man.
baby.
So yeah, Aled has.
It looks like a Bigfoot though, doesn't it? Because of the camera angle.
It really does. It's good.
And it's very hairy.
It's very, very hairy. Anyway, guys. I
hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning
thanks
in.
for the positive comments we got last week as well.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh yes, that was lovely.
Yeah, a lot of people said a lot of nice things.
And a lot of positive comments at the rink as well. So
yeah.
Enjoy the games, and we'll see you Sunday.
Exactly. Enjoy.
What's that?
Icky.